Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ&A Video, the official Q&A video series of NoDQ.com. WWE WrestleMania 29 is this coming Sunday. We are coming down to the home stretch. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com this week and this weekend for all the latest news and rumors. We'll keep you up to date on all the WrestleMania happenings. And of course, check out the live coverage Sunday night. Don't forget the WrestleMania is 4 hours this year, so be on NoDQ.com, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I'll be tweeting my thoughts on Twitter, and the Twitter feed will be on NoDQ.com. So stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the latest regarding WrestleMania. With that being said, let's get right down to your questions. First one today comes from XBonkerZZ. Hey Aaron, love the show. What did you think of the Undertaker and CM Punk segment at the end of Raw? I thought it was well planned out, but some could see it as slightly disrespectful. Your thoughts? If anybody was offended by that segment, if they thought that that segment was going too far, then why are you watching WWE in the first place? I thought it was a very typical WWE segment where the heel does something absolutely despicable to get heat and make you want to buy the pay-per-view and see the babyface get his revenge. I thought it was a really strong segment, a really strong final segment leading up to WrestleMania. The stuff that CM Punk did, I thought was very typical of a heel, and it's something a heel would do. Something that's completely out of line. And I talked about this before. Paul Bearer's sons, they approved the whole storyline with Undertaker and CM Punk, and I'm sure Paul Bearer would have loved this segment. I thought it was very effective. I mean, at first people were chanting CM Punk in the beginning, but I mean by the end, the people were booing CM Punk and people were gasping and they were shocked. So I thought the segment worked really well. I thought it was very effective at making CM Punk this hated heel, and now you want to see Undertaker come back and kick his ass at WrestleMania, and that's money right there. So I really enjoyed the segment a lot. All right, this one comes from my good friend Ryan in San Pedro. Hey Aaron, after tonight's Raw, the Punk-Undertaker match is definitely the match I'm looking forward to the most. Do you feel WWE will actually have Punk end the streak, or do you think Undertaker will go 21-0? I'm fine either way. What do you think? Please answer in video, fella. Based on the storyline that WWE's done with CM Punk and Undertaker and the whole thing with Paul Bearer, and especially after the ending of Raw this week with CM Punk getting the heat on Undertaker, I'm thinking that this means Undertaker is winning at WrestleMania. I mean, I just can't see all this stuff happening to Undertaker and then he still loses at WrestleMania. So I think that if anything, that last segment to me convinced me that Undertaker is going to win at WrestleMania. And I really don't have an issue with Undertaker winning. I mean, it would be huge for CM Punk to end the streak. And I've talked about it before where, in my opinion, the guy that should end the streak should be a guy who the company is building as the future. And CM Punk is that guy. But a lot of people feel that the Undertaker streak should never end. So whatever happens at WrestleMania, I'm cool with. But I definitely see Undertaker winning, and I'll talk about all this more on an upcoming WrestleMania predictions video. But yeah, if I had to pick right now, I'd say Undertaker for sure. Your feelings on the fans chanting "boring" during John Cena's promo at Raw. This one comes from Breeze Doylan. I thought that was very amusing. It was Washington, D.C., and, there were a lot of hardcore WWE fans there, and usually when you have more hardcore fans in the audience, they tend to boo John Cena, and I think that this was a little bit of a preview for WrestleMania. I mean, I think we're going to see more of this at WrestleMania with the fans not into John Cena at all, and it's definitely intriguing to see how WWE handles the finish of Rock versus Cena, because are you really going to end WrestleMania with John Cena beating The Rock, getting his redemption, and that being the end of the show? I mean, a lot of people aren't going to be happy with that. It's definitely something I'm intrigued about. And one thing on commentary, Jerry Lawler was talking about how John Cena was getting more boos than usual. It did kind of feel like a tease, like maybe this could be a John Cena heel turn. And somebody asked me here, actually it's Mike Souza, if it was up to you, would you turn John Cena heel at WrestleMania? Why or why not? There's the argument that if John Cena turns heel, he's going to become a babyface to the people that have been booing him all this time. Not necessarily. When Hogan turned heel in '96, when he did the heel turn, dropped the leg on Randy Savage, he actually got a big pop. People, of course, cheer Hogan. They cheered the NWO, but a lot of people also booed Hogan as well, and it was huge for business. WCW did huge business. Hogan was still selling merchandise, all the Hollywood Hogan merchandise. So, WWE's concerned about the whole merchandise thing with John Cena, and, he's by far their biggest star in terms of merchandising, and, he's the face of the company. But you turn Cena heel, I mean, they really have to have a good game plan, I think, if they're going to turn Cena heel. My concern is that they'll turn him heel and they'll somehow botch it, and John Cena won't get the reaction that he usually gets. People just won't be into him as much. So that's my big concern. But if it was up to me, I mean, it really feels like it's time. And I've been saying this for years. I know a lot of people have wanted to see John Cena turn heel for years, but I really do feel you got to do something at WrestleMania this year. If you just have John Cena beat The Rock clean and that's the end of it, I mean, that I think a lot of people are going to be let down by that. And I think you really got to do something big for WrestleMania. You got to end it with something shocking and something that is going to get a lot of people talking and keep people interested in the WWE product past WrestleMania. I mean, that would be my goal. If it was me, I would want to do something that's going to get everybody talking and going to keep people watching the WWE product after WrestleMania, because usually every year, you have WrestleMania and then people tune out again, and WWE kind of goes into a slump. So if I was in charge, I would want to do something that's going to keep those people around and keep them watching the show. So if that means a John Cena heel turn, then that's what I would do. All right, this next one comes from Patrick. Hey Aaron, what are your thoughts on Miz going from main eventing WrestleMania 2 years ago to now this year being on the WrestleMania pre-show? Also, is John Cena going to debut a new shirt on Sunday? Well, John Cena just came up with the new gold t-shirt, so I don't think that he's going to debut a new shirt, at least not for a couple weeks. I mean, if he does turn heel or whatever, I suppose he would have some new gear or whatever. But regarding The Miz, I mean, I don't understand it. If you have a 4-hour pay-per-view, how can you not fit the Intercontinental title match on the main show? To me, that's a huge mistake, and it just waters down the Intercontinental title, and it's bad for The Miz and it's bad for Wade Barrett, two guys that are potentially the future of your company. Now, Miz did have his shot, and I think it waters down the WWE title. I mean, you put the title on Miz. You had a main event WrestleMania, and now you're putting him on the pre-show. I mean, couldn't have you just thrown him on the pay-per-view and put, like, the Tensai match as the pre-show? Though there's a purpose in that match. The Tensai match, that's going to be a filler match between, the two main event matches, something like that. So, I mean, that match does have a purpose on the main show, but I don't know how you cannot have that match on the main card. Just, it boggles me, baffles me, or whatever. I just don't get it. And, it sucks for The Miz. I mean, definitely. 2 years ago, he was on top, and now he's in the pre-show. If I was him, I'd be really frustrated. Hey, Aaron, I know there's not many, but other than the triple threat at WrestleMania 20, what was your favorite Triple H main event at WrestleMania, and why? I have to say the WrestleMania match with Undertaker from 27. I watched that pay-per-view a few weeks ago, and I was really impressed with that match. I thought it was an excellent Undertaker match, one of the best. I mean, I thought it was a close second to the WrestleMania 25 match, Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. And I actually enjoyed that match more than the WrestleMania 26 match. I thought that those two really put on a great performance, and I think that's my all-time favorite Triple H WrestleMania match. Definitely the WrestleMania 20 match is up there. That was an excellent match, and unfortunately it kind of gets lost in history because Chris Benoit was involved. But that was really an epic match. I mean, it was incredible, the heat in that match, and just the emotion from the fans wanting to see Chris Benoit win the world title. And Triple H was great, Shawn was great, Chris Benoit was great. I mean, really one of the best triple threat matches of all time for any pay-per-view, any event. Alright, this one comes from Alexander Rago. Hey Aaron, I've always been excited for WrestleMania every year for as long as I can remember. For some reason, I feel like WWE hasn't hyped this year's WrestleMania a hell of a lot compared to previous years. Also, I think the mid-card this year has absolutely no build. Why do you think this is? Well, my opinion is that WWE feels WrestleMania is going to sell based on the name WrestleMania, and their main concern is to have 2 or 3 marquee matches that you can sell to the mainstream public. You know, Rock versus Cena, CM Punk versus Undertaker, Brock versus Triple H, and then besides that, it doesn't matter what you have on the card. People are going to buy the pay-per-view because it's WrestleMania, and they're buying the pay-per-view to see the big stars. So the other matches are basically just filler. And unfortunately, that's what even the title matches are, like Del Rio versus Swagger. It doesn't matter who's in that match. I mean, they can throw Jack Swagger in a world title match because that's not what people are buying WrestleMania for. So they can do whatever, and they can have different people in matches at WrestleMania and just change things up. I mean, they can get away with that. And like I said, going back to the Wade Barrett and Miz thing, I mean, that match really should be on WrestleMania, but WWE doesn't feel it's important. And ultimately, it's not. I mean, in the long run, it's bad for the Miz and Wade Barrett not to be at WrestleMania. But in terms of the bottom line for WrestleMania and the big bucks, Miz and Wade Barrett's going to make no difference whatsoever, whether it's on the show or not. Realistically, that's not going to make a difference. So that's why WWE doesn't put a huge emphasis on the mid card, because that's not what's selling the pay-per-view. What match at WrestleMania do you think has the chance to, quote, steal the show, if any? This is from Devin King. I think Triple H versus Brock Lesnar. The fact that it's no holds barred and Triple H's career is on the line. You know, Triple H is the son-in-law. He's the guy that's taken over the company. He's going to go out there, and Triple H isn't going to have a bad match at WrestleMania. He's going to go out there. Him and Brock are going to be able to use every gimmick in the book, the tables, the weapons. I think because of that, those two are going to have the best opportunity to go out there and steal the show. And I do think that this match will be a lot better than the SummerSlam match. And now you have Shawn Michaels added to the mix. You know, I think that match has a lot of potential to steal the show. What was your favorite, quote, modern WrestleMania, 20 through 28? Well, personally, 21, I was there, and that was special because I was there live in person. But in terms of the overall quality of the show, I would probably have to go with 23. You had that big moment with Vince McMahon getting his head shaved by Donald Trump. You had an excellent main event, John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. You had a really good Undertaker match, him versus Batista. You had Money in the Bank. I just think top to bottom, that was a really good WrestleMania. You know, of the 20s, I think 23 would be my favorite. In my opinion, I feel that Aces and Eights storyline has gone on for too long now. Wow, we actually have a TNA question here. And I think TNA should just bring it to an end after their next major pay-per-view. What do you think? Please answer in video. This is from Kevin Augustine. I definitely feel that the Aces and Eights storyline should have been ended a long time ago. I've talked about this before. I never felt it was working. I was never feeling the storyline. I think that they should have just dropped it 6 months ago, but they have this long-term plan, and they're determined to make it work and go through with it. So that's what they're doing. And I don't think it's going to end at Slammiversary. And at this point, they might as well just drag it out because they've gone this far, and Bully Ray is the champion now. So I definitely see it going through at least Bound for Glory, and they might keep it around longer than that. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, if it was me, I would have dropped it a long time ago, but whatever. Alright, that'll do it for this edition of NoDQ&A video. Thanks as always for watching. Subscribe, youtube.com/NoDQCW, and I will be back. This is WrestleMania week on NoDQ.com, so I'll have my WrestleMania predictions video coming up soon, and maybe some more WrestleMania videos. Just stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.